My dear friend, let's sit together in this tender moment where your heart feels heavy, where the sting of feeling forgotten by everyone, even God, wraps around you like a shadow. I want to speak to those times when you feel invisible, overlooked, or abandoned, as if your existence fades into the background. Maybe your efforts go unnoticed, your cries for help unanswered, or your prayers seem to echo in an empty sky. Perhaps you're watching others move forward while you feel stuck, or you're wrestling with the ache of loneliness, wondering if anyone, even God, cares. It's a raw, isolating place, isn't it? You might feel unworthy, question your purpose, or fear you've been left behind. But let me assure you right now, your feeling of being forgotten is not your truth. God sees you, knows you, and is working in the quiet to affirm your divine worth, restore your hope, and guide you to a purpose that shines for His glory. Drawing on Dr. Myles Munroe's wisdom about your God-given purpose, I'll unpack why you feel forgotten by everyone, even God, and show you how to live so vibrantly that you trust His presence and thrive in the destiny He's crafting, not defined by the loneliness or silence you face. Picture this. You're not alone in feeling forgotten. Think of Hagar, cast out into the desert, feeling abandoned by all, yet God found her, calling her by name and promising a future. Or consider Joseph, forgotten in a prison cell for years, yet God was weaving a plan to raise him to greatness. Even Jesus on the cross cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Yet God's silence led to resurrection. Dr. Myles Munroe taught that your worth isn't diminished when you feel forgotten. It's magnified in the purpose God is shaping through your pain. When you feel forgotten by everyone, even God, it's not a sign of His absence, but of His nearness, working in the unseen to prepare you for a destiny that glorifies Him. This loneliness isn't your end. It's God's way of drawing you closer to His heart. Let's explore why you feel forgotten and what God is really doing. First, feelings of being forgotten often come from a season of waiting. God allows these moments to teach you to seek Him above human affirmation, rooting your identity in His love rather than others' attention. That unnoticed struggle is building your faith. Second, God's silence is not abandonment but preparation. He's working behind the scenes, aligning people, opportunities, and your heart for the purpose He's designed. That quiet is His canvas. Finally, your loneliness is refining your purpose. Feeling forgotten strips away distractions, helping you discover who you are in God's eyes and what He's called you to do. Dr. Munroe said, your purpose is like a pearl in an oyster. Hidden in discomfort, it grows into something precious. That's you right now, growing in God's hands, even when you feel unseen. I know this season stirs deep emotions. Feeling forgotten can make you feel insignificant, like your life doesn't matter, or like God's promises have passed you by. You might think, I'm alone, or God doesn't see me. Perhaps you're tempted to withdraw, stop trying, or believe you're not enough. I felt that ache, my friend, and it's heavy. But let me speak to your soul. You are not forgotten. You are cherished. You're not called to measure your worth by who notices you or to sink in despair. You are a child of God, crafted with a heart that endures, a purpose that shines through the silence. Psalm 139:17-18 says, how precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. That's you, thought of, loved, seen by God. This loneliness is God inviting you to shine where your heart rests in His presence. Let me share a story to make this real. I once knew a woman who felt forgotten after a divorce, left her isolated, her prayers for restoration unanswered. She felt God had turned away. In her loneliness, she began volunteering at a shelter, offering kindness to others. Through that, she found community and purpose, eventually leading a program that helped hundreds. Her season of feeling forgotten wasn't God's absence. It was His preparation, shaping a purpose that blessed many. She thrived, surrounded by those who valued her, her faith renewed. That struggle became her testimony, echoing Dr. Munroe's words. Your worth is in who God made you, not the moments you feel forgotten. That's the power I want you to embrace today. You feel forgotten by everyone, even God, because He's teaching you to seek Him, preparing you for purpose, and refining your heart in the quiet. This loneliness isn't your failure. It's a sign that God is working, guiding you to where your heart belongs. Dr. Munroe taught that your purpose is to reflect God's glory, not to be dimmed by feelings of abandonment. When you trust His presence and keep shining, you become a beacon, drawing the right people and moments to you. The silence might test you, but you'll be too busy thriving in God's plan, your life a testament to His faithfulness. If you're feeling invisible, doubting God's care in this lonely season, hear this: release that burden. You're not defined by who overlooks you or the silence you feel. You're defined by the God who loves you, who knows you, who calls you his own. Don't let thoughts like "I'm forgotten" or "I don't matter" dim your light. You are enough just as you are. God's got a place where your heart will soar, not fade, but you must trust his presence to step into it. Isaiah 43:1 says, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine." That's God's promise. You are his, never forgotten. Trust that he's working even now. So how do you move forward? First, root yourself in God's love for you. Stop measuring your worth by who notices you and start resting in his gaze. Spend time in his presence, letting verses like Deuteronomy 31:8 fill you. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Tell yourself daily, God sees me. My heart is his. I'm destined to shine. When you're anchored in his love, the loneliness loses its grip and you shine with a confidence that comes from knowing you're known. Next, surrender your feelings of being forgotten to God. The silence and isolation aren't yours to carry. His presence transforms them. Take your pain to him in prayer. Say, "Lord, I give you my loneliness. Show me your purpose." Write down your feelings, then release them, trusting that God's plan outweighs the quiet. Dr. Munroe taught that you're called to steward your purpose, not dwell on being unseen. Pray for strength to trust him and seek out one or two who can remind you of God's care, aligning with his plan. When you surrender the loneliness, you reclaim your hope, and that freedom lets you thrive as God's beloved. Then embrace your God-given purpose. Feeling forgotten might dim your spirit, but your heart was never meant to stay in the shadows. It's meant for God's glory. Celebrate what makes you you, your gifts, your faith, your resilience. Pour your energy into what aligns with God's purpose. Serve others, pursue that dream, take small steps in faith. Dr. Munroe said, your purpose is where your gifts meet God's call. When you lean into God's plan, you attract people who cherish your light, and the loneliness fades into the brilliance of your destiny. To those feeling abandoned, thinking being overlooked means you're worthless, or afraid to hope, worried this loneliness defines you, I get it. The silence feels like rejection, and the fear of being forgotten forever is heavy. But you can't live God's purpose by hiding in despair or believing you're unseen. Shining, serving, chasing your dreams, it takes a heart that trusts, and it's safe in God's hands. Don't let the loneliness define you. Trust that God is with you, that he's crafting your purpose, that your destiny is secure. Luke 12:7 says, indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. That's you, valued by God, free to shine. Your purpose awaits when you trust his presence. Let me share another story. I knew a man who felt forgotten after losing his job, his friends drifting away, his prayers for guidance silent. In his isolation, he started writing poetry to process his pain. Sharing it online, he connected with others who felt alone, building a community that uplifted thousands. His season of being forgotten wasn't his end. It was God's preparation, crafting a purpose that healed many. He thrived, supported by those who valued him, his faith radiant. That journey proved Dr. Munroe's truth. Your worth is in who God made you, not the moments you feel forgotten. So, what's this feeling of being forgotten holding you back from? What dream are you pausing because you feel unseen? What purpose are you hesitating to chase because God seems distant? My friend, you don't need recognition to shine. You need God's purpose. You need your faith, your courage, your trust in the one who knows you. The loneliness may test you, but it can't stop you unless you let it. Rise, release the silence, and walk in the destiny God's preparing. The world needs your light, and no feeling of being forgotten can dim what God's designed. Now let's talk about living so vibrantly that the loneliness and silence become whispers in your story. Not to dismiss the pain, but to honor God's purpose in you. Live for his glory, not the notice of others. When you feel forgotten, it's tempting to seek validation, but that's a trap. Instead, use your heart to serve God's kingdom. Share your gifts, shine boldly, pursue your calling even in the quiet. When you live for God, your light finds the right hearts, those who cherish you. Now, Dr. Munroe said, your purpose is God's priority, not your visibility. Let that drive you. Live with confidence, knowing God's presence is your strength. The loneliness might stir doubt, but trust that your light is enough, that His plan is perfect, that your destiny is secure. Step out boldly even when you feel unseen. When you carry yourself with the assurance that God knows you, you glow, drawing the right people to you. That confidence isn't just for you, it's a beacon for others who feel forgotten, showing them they can shine through God's love. Live with purpose. Don't let the silence derail you. Wake up each day asking, God, how can I shine for you today? Where do you want my light? Purpose keeps you steady, even when the loneliness lingers. When you focus on what God's called you to do, you build a life that's radiant, pulling in relationships and opportunities that honor your heart. The feeling of being forgotten might linger, but you'll be too busy glorifying God to stay in the shadows, your life shouting His goodness. To rise above this season, cultivate what I call God confidence. The deep knowing that your worth comes from the one who made you, not the attention you receive. Spend time with Him. Let His word fill you. Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. That's you, known by God, set apart. When you're rooted in that, no loneliness can sway you. Your light becomes a magnet, drawing those meant to share your journey. Practice gratitude too. It's easy to focus on who's overlooked you, but gratitude shifts your eyes to God's presence. Thank Him for knowing you, for working in the quiet, for the purpose He's unfolding. Thank Him for the lessons, the strength, the moments of hope. Try this each day. Write down one way God's with you. Maybe it's a kind word, a quiet assurance, or a spark of courage. Gratitude doesn't erase the loneliness, but it lifts you above it, turning the silence into a bridge to your destiny. Let me share one more story. I knew a woman who felt forgotten as a single parent struggling alone, her prayers for connection silent. In her quiet moments, she began teaching art to neighborhood kids. That small act grew into a community program that brought her recognition and deep friendships. Her season of being forgotten wasn't her end. It was God's preparation, shaping a purpose that blessed many. She thrived, supported by those who valued her, her faith unwavering. That journey proved Dr. Munroe's words. Your worth is in who God made you to be. Guard God's purpose in you, my friend. The loneliness and feeling of being forgotten can feel like a fog, but every moment is God working. He's shaping your heart, setting the stage for your purpose. Trust that He's not done. Your job is to keep shining, keep serving, keep being you, even in the silence. And celebrate your light. Don't let the loneliness dim it. Your strength, your gifts, your heart, they're all part of the treasure God gave you. Share it boldly, knowing it's enough. You are not defined by the feeling of being forgotten or the silence you face. You are defined by the God who loves you, who knows you, who calls you to a purpose that's yours alone. You are radiant, irreplaceable, a vessel of divine destiny. The loneliness is a lesson, a sign, a nudge to shine wiser. Root yourself in God's love, release the silence, embrace your purpose, live for His glory with confidence and purpose. Lean into His confidence, stay grateful, trust His presence, celebrate who you are. Do this and you'll live a life so vibrant that the loneliness fades into the brilliance of your purpose, glorifying God and inspiring others to trust Him too. Go out there, my friend, shine like you were made to. Chase your purpose with every ounce of faith you've got. Let the feeling of being forgotten be the spark that lights your greatest chapter. The world's waiting for your light, and no silence can stop God's plan. You've got this, and I'm cheering you every step of the way.